Welcome to Capital View. Today we're going to talk a little bit about customer service and how it impacts us on a day-to-day basis. Hello ladies, let's chat.
Let's talk.
Customer service is a big deal right now. In fact, before we even started today, we were talking a little bit about how everyone is talking about their experiences. I recently wrote a column in the magazine about a couple of, difficult moments in customer service and received so much feedback. So tell me, has customer service taken a nosedive, or is it just I'm getting a little older and a little more persnickety?
I don't think it's that. I think that what's happened in our society as a whole through social media and other means is that there's so much more visibility into what happens between the customer and the company. Mm-hmm. And so now it's amplified and everybody knows what's going on all the time.
That's
so
true.
Now we see it and we're like, oh my gosh, customer service is terrible, or it's great.
So are you saying
everybody
it's always
knows
been
it.
Terrible?
I'm going to say there's always been a mixed bag out there. There are some companies that are better than others, but
absolutely.
I think too, when you look at user experience on a website, you think there's an experience, and it's not just whether or not the information is there, it's how you experience that information. And I think that shift has taken place to customer experience as well, that people want to have a good experience with a company. They don't just want a transaction.
Absolutely, like they want to feel it. But they want to be treated good, and that it kind of takes it back to treat people like you want to be treated. Like if you leave somewhere and you don't feel good about it, it just makes the whole experience, whether the product's good or not, but if their experience is bad, that is absolutely important, to treat people like you'd want to be treated.
Mm-hmm. I do think, I believe that customer service has taken a decline. I think that in today's society, we're so used to having everything right at our fingertips that expectations are higher, and then when you're the worker though, your expectations are lower, or you're like, I don't get paid enough to deal with this, And so I will actually go somewhere and pay more money if I know that store has better customer service than to someone that has poor customer service.
I would agree. I think that service, especially, for me, it really is important to get that type of, I just want people to appreciate that I'm coming to their organization. I have a business, and I appreciate when people do business with me, and I feel like I express that, or at least I hope that I express it, and I hope that my team expresses it. Sure. How do you think organizations, from food service to hotels to service companies or any type of company, how do you think that they should go about checking for their customer service and maybe helping their staff and their employees become better at it or acknowledge it?
Yeah, I think it starts at the top. Right. Absolutely. There's this beautiful little show out there called Undercover Boss that I absolutely am addicted to and love. I love it. But it makes, my husband and I both own businesses, and we constantly are looking at that, because the people that are dealing with your patients or your customers, your clients, they're the ones that have to love those people. We love them, but we have to give that love all the way through. And if you don't respect that and have gratitude for each level of employee that you have, I think there's a break in your team. And I think the more you appreciate your team and give to your team, they want to help you, the business owner. So I put a lot more gratitude into my team, like you're saying, to make sure that spreads all the way through, and they take some love towards it.
Right, and it's training.
Absolutely.
So I think really training your employees and your staff, like one of my companies, we have, well, all of my companies, but we have core values. And they're all around the office. In cubicles, these are our core values. Our clients are our greatest asset. And I have to live it in order for them to buy into it.
Absolutely.
So I never talk negatively. You walk the talk, basically. So a lot of it is training as well.
And it's addicting. If people are happy and positive and feeling good about the company or in general, then everyone's going to be that way too. It's very addicting.
I think the other thing is that you have to think about the way that your customers are experiencing your company or your product. And it used to be that we could teach people, here's how you have to use my my product or service, or here's how you have to use my website, or here's how you have to use this, and I'm going to provide training for that. And that is completely flipped because people say, well, number one, I want instant gratification. Number two, I want everything to be intuitive so that I don't have to be trained on how to do business with you. I just want to do business with you.
Right.
And so I think the more that we can take the viewpoint of the people we're actually trying to serve, the better.
How do you respond to negative customer service? So if something happens, how do you deal with it in the moment?
We always respond to it. We never ignore it, and
Absolutely.
we always take it head on. So, and usually if I can't respond myself as the owner, then I would use someone else that is, has management authority to respond. But we take it seriously, and we really try to make them feel like their viewpoint is valued and that we hear what they're saying, and then we present them with a solution.
Right.
We don't just listen, we present a solution.
Absolutely.
People want to be heard. They want, if nothing else, even if you can't, there are times when you can't give them what they want. You can't do it. But they want to know that A, you're listening to what they have to say, and B, that you care that they're having a problem regardless.
And you tried, yeah.
And you tried.
Absolutely.
If you personally are experiencing something, do you tell that person at in the moment that you're having, a problem with the way that they're servicing you, whether it be at a restaurant or at a store? Do you give them feedback as a business person? We know how important it is. Do you give someone that feedback in the moment?
I do. Respectfully, being in business as a woman, you become very familiar and close to other women in business, and I take that very seriously. And if I've ever had a situation, I personally would go to the owner because that's what I would want.
Right.
If someone came into my establishment, one of them, and said, hey, this is what happened to me, it didn't get handled, I think the communication within, and it does. There's a lot of connections now, which everyone's getting in business, so that's important.
I think it depends on the situation too, and how big of a deal it is. I mean, honestly,
Right.
if my steak is not done exactly right, I'm not going to throw a big fit about it unless they completely overcook it. But I mean, I don't think, that warrants a big deal.
Right.
Now, if it's like really rude behavior or, something that has an effect beyond the moment,
Right.
then I think it's important to say, hey, you might want to, I don't know if this is kind of a fluke or if
Right.
this is something that is indicative of your entire practice. And I think that if it's one of those bigger things that could be indicative of the bigger practice, then they will want to hear about that in a constructive, respectful way.
Exactly, and I think that's key. What I can't stand is when you're somewhere in a store or a restaurant and you see people berating or just
Yeah.
being so rude
Right.
to the employee, because they're unhappy about something. And I just believe you never know. I mean, that person could be having a bad day. They could be.
And they're
there's so
probably
much
not the
wrong.
ones who made the rule in the first place. When
exactly.
I'm upset, I say to them, I know that this is not your fault, but I would like you to communicate to the person who is in charge of your customer care that this is not a good customer care practice because I'm not having a good experience with it.
Well, and I take myself to that negativity part too. If you're yelling and very upset with somebody, they're not going to want to help you.
Right, right.
I mean, that's so surprising, right?
I know, and be very positive and understand, right? And sometimes they'll help you more when you're doing it very
That honey vinegar situation, right?
Right.
Do you provide positive feedback when you get
Absolutely.
great customer service?
do.
More and more all the time.
I do too.
I just, we had an experience at, a local hospital, and we ended up, I was able to give direct feedback that we had a really great experience all the way from the moment we arrived. And she said to me, she's like, I really appreciate getting that specific feedback because usually we always hear about the negative stuff. So I do try to make sure that happens.
It is
So,
nice.
well, thank you, ladies. And here's hoping that you get great customer service going forward. Earlier, we explored some additional viewpoints. We're going to take a look at those when we return. Today I'm here with Sharon Cosgrove, a breast health navigator at Sparrow Hospital. Thanks for being here, Sharon.
Hi, Tiffany.
So tell us what a breast health navigator does.
So what I do is I meet my patients when they get their biopsy, and I bring them back a few days later and I give them the results of their biopsy.
That's a big job.
And you know, it's like most of the time the biopsies turn out fine. I mean, but when you get that small percentage that do get breast cancer, then we navigate them to the next step.
This is personal for you, isn't it?
It is. You know, I had cancer when I was 33, and so when I was told that I had cancer, I had a surgeon tell me, who was a wonderful surgeon, but they used terminology. I wasn't even sure what I had when I left there. So one thing I try to do when I connect with my patients is really let them understand, you know, what is this diagnosis and what does it mean? But we always give them hope, because with breast cancer, we do amazing jobs.
Yes, I know you do. So when a woman meets with you, how do you help her get through the system specifically?
So what I do is when I meet them on Thursdays, every Thursday we have a multidisciplinary breast clinic. And there I bring them to our clinic, and there the doctors come to the patients. So they meet a medical oncology, a surgeon, and a radiation doctor. And what we do is we get their treatment plan that day. We make recommendations on what's next.
Do women call you with questions after?
Yeah, I feel like I'm their personal guide really through this journey.
That's so
and
nice.
it's such an amazing position to have.
So tell me some tips that you would give for women in preventative care.
So what I would tell you is to get good exercise, get good sleep, which most of us don't do.
Right.
And a healthy diet, a healthy body weight and get your mammograms for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sharon, and we really appreciate that. And that's been another Capitol View. Today I'm here with Lori Nash from Another Look Hair Institute. Thanks for being here, Lori. So obviously you help people when they're experiencing hair loss. Do you offer wigs?
We do. We actually call them full cranial prosthetics or prosthesis. We customize to each individual need. So the measurements are taken, the cap size is taken, samples of hair, everything to create that customized look for each individual that has no hair in need of a system.
So whether or not a person is in need of something short-term or something that would be long-term, you can help them with.
Absolutely, and there's varieties of all cost levels, so for appropriate time of when they would need it. There's also different types of hair. There's synthetic now available, human hair, and also cyber hair. So there's 3 different types of hair which can be perfect for each individual depending on their needs.
So if someone comes in, you offer them an opportunity to look at the different types of things available and then
Yes.
select the appropriate piece together?
Absolutely, for their lifestyle, the fit. It's like a pair of shoes. They gotta fit, it's gotta feel good, or else you're not gonna wear it. You gotta look good, so you wanna wear it.
Right.
And we really specialize in that.
So how long does it take from the start of deciding how to do this to when someone gets their wig or their prosthesis?
Right, it really could be the next day. I mean, we have quite a few things in our stock, but mostly everything is customized, but it could be rushed. It could take then up to, the longest would be 8 to 10 weeks.
Is it harder to style on a day-to-day basis or pretty much the same?
Yeah, it makes it become a part of you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that insight. And that's been another Capitol View. Today I'm here with Shelly from LaughQ. She's going to talk a little bit about how mobile banking, it's basically making lives easier. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Tiffany.
So LaughQ has obviously a lot of convenient services.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about mobile banking.
Mobile banking is a wonderful application that our members can download on their phone, whether they have an Android or if they have an iPhone. It allows you to do so many things right at your convenience, right from your phone. Do things like the magical remote deposit. I don't really understand how this works, but it's amazing. You can do a deposit from your phone, take a picture of your check, send it in, so you don't have to come into the branch to do that, although we'd love to see you. You can apply for loans.
That's really great.
Transfers, a lot of great services.
So obviously, if someone is a member, all they need to do is go to an app store and download if they don't know how to work it.
They can come into one of our offices and we'd be happy to help them. It really is quite easy, but if they're not sure, we're always happy to help our members. They can come in, see one of our SMSRs that will walk them through the steps, but it really will make it so much easier to access your services at a time that works for you.
That's really great. So if someone has downloaded and they are a little bit nervous or feel a little intimidated, this may have happened to me once or twice, where you don't know how to work your app as well as you should, do they just go up to the customer service person or do they need to make an appointment?
They do not have to make an appointment. You can come into any one of our 9 branch locations and see any of our people that will be available to help you.
I'm sure they'll make it easy.
They will make it. Thank
you
you
so much. And that's been another Capitol View. Today I'm here with Melanie McNamara, a patient at Sparrow Hospital. She had breast cancer and went through the breast health navigation system. Melanie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the process and what the breast health navigation system meant to you.
Sure. Once I was diagnosed, I met with Sharon Cosgrove, who actually gave me my diagnosis, and she set up an appointment for me to go to the breast clinic, where it's once a week, and so you don't have to wait a long time from diagnosis to your treatment plan, which is the worst thing to have to wait. So I got into the breast clinic the following week, and I met with the oncologist, the radiology oncologist, the surgeon, got my treatment plan, learned of my actual staging and specifics about my own personal breast cancer. There's many different types.
Yes. So Sharon was there for you through that whole process. When you had questions, you were able to call?
Absolutely. She was always available, and if I called, I'd leave a message and she'd get right back to me.
That's really amazing. So how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling well. I've completed almost a year of treatments. So I went through chemotherapy, I had surgery, I had radiation, and now I am cancer-free and just being monitored.
That's so wonderful. I'm so happy for you. So if you could give advice to somebody out there who is thinking about how they would take care of themselves, what would that be?
Well, first of all, do self-exams. Go ahead and do it, and if you find something, make sure you call your doctor and get right in and get that checked out.
Thank you so much, Melanie. And that's been another Capitol View. Today I'm here with Anne from Michigan Virtual. Thanks for being here. So online learning, there are a lot of misconceptions out there about what online learning is and how effective it is. Tell me a little bit about some of those misconceptions and what the reality is.
Well, I think the biggest misconception about online learning is that it's easy. And it's challenging in many ways, it's great in many ways, but it's not a blow-off class like a lot of people would seem.
I would think that that's probably true. So tell me a little bit about why people think it might be easier than a face-to-face course.
I think one of the things that people think about is that they're simply maybe reading text and answering a question and clicking through.
Okay.
And the modern online courses are so much more than that. Good courses have teachers on the other end, actually highly qualified Michigan certified teachers. There are interactions, there are assignments and other things that students have to do, incorporating feedback from their instructor. So it really is a different environment.
I think that that's really important to reiterate. So in a lot of classes, there's really a teacher behind the screen. I mean, they are communicating back and forth with the student and helping them get through some of the issues that they may have with some of the content.
Absolutely. In fact, online instructors, that's their main job. The curriculum and the lessons are already there. The teachers are there to act as a learning coach and to kind of personalize that instruction for students.
I think that that's really great, and it's really important for parents to understand. Thank you so much for this valuable information. That's been another Capitol View. Today I'm here with Becca from Another Look Hair Institute, and we're going to talk a little bit about a disorder called trichotillomania. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
All right,
Excellent.
wonderful. So what is that disorder?
So trichotillomania is an impulse control disorder that causes someone to have uncontrollable urges to pick at and ultimately pull out their own hair. And this can be hair from their scalp, eyelashes, eyebrows, anywhere on the body.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I know that I have a little bit of that where I twist and pull out my hair when I'm a little bit stressed. And so it used to be a lot when I was really little. I don't do it as much as today, but I still do it every now and then.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably pretty common.
Yes, it is. And it's actually quite common at a young age. The typical onset is between 8 and 13 years old. And it's a combination of emotional and sensory regulation. Yeah.
So how do you help people deal with trichotillomania?
Yes. So at Another Look Hair Institute, we provide a range of hair replacement services, anything from a haircut to hair replacement options. We do provide private rooms, which most people feel comfortable about. And we also offer a more holistic aspect as well to offer that relaxation and calm and comfort in our
Try
salon.
to help people get through it. So there are different things that you would do. So say someone is pulling out their hair in the front, you'll give them some options to deal with?
There's different sizes of even hair additions or ways to style their hair, and even some sensory, maybe massage techniques to help control the impulses as well.
I think that's really interesting, and I think it's important for people to understand that this is common and it can be dealt with. Thank you so much for all of that great information, Becca.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And that's been Another Capitol View. Welcome back. Those were some pretty interesting viewpoints. I hope you enjoyed them. You know, ladies, one of the things that I think is interesting is how do you deal with your social media personally versus professionally? Do you keep them together? Do you separate them? How do you manage to keep all of that going? It's a difficult topic.
It is, and I think it depends on what your job is as well. So it's kind of a difficult balance on sometimes. I look at it as if anything that I post on my personal, which I consider Facebook more personal than professional,
Okay.
but still anybody in my professional world could view it. So I only post things that I would want, I always say, my father or my minister to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a good rule of thumb. It keeps me out of trouble, right? In that order. And then LinkedIn is really for professional, and I would say Twitter is a kind of a mixed bag for me, but I always keep it at a professional level, regardless.
Right.
I agree with that. I will get tagged a lot with my family and kids, so there's a lot of things online that people are seeing, but I think keeping it professional, whether it's personal or business, is huge. I try to teach my children the same thing, that once it goes out there, sometimes they think it's out there, oh, but no one will see it. It's always out there. Mm-hmm. So you really have to have respect in yourself, like taking it back to the 80s, totally have your own boundaries and respect who you are, and that people aren't going to see different parts of you you don't want them to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Social media is such a big part of owning and running a business.
Absolutely.
Really, in any type of business, I found these days. And so I understand the importance of it, and I also understand that you can really build a business using social media and promote yourself, and it's very important. However, I represent the section of society that is not good at that. Like I told someone, I said, hey, can you Twitter this out for me? And they all laughed. And it was like, but I was serious. And so what I found is someone who is a professional,
Yes,
who does that.
absolutely.
And if you own a business, I would highly recommend to looking into that. And it's, the dollars spent is way less than the dollars you're going to bring in. So social media is very important.
I think it's delegating. You can still give all the information that you want to give out because social media is so important in business, but it's a full-time job too, if you want to do it the right way and do it where you're out there in all these different channels that people are going to see you. So that's
I have a
absolutely smart.
difficult time managing multiple social media sites. So for me, I can do Facebook, and I accept everyone, and I really keep it as professional as possible. I post some personal things, but just like you said, I keep it very, above the line in
Yeah.
terms of, not so personal.
Yeah.
And it's good, and I like it. But I don't do a very good job of keeping others up. Like I'm with you on the LinkedIn. I do that, although I probably don't post as much as I probably should. And then I'm not, tweeting or twittering, whatever it is we do these
Snapping.
days.
Yes.
Snapping.
I'm certainly not doing any Snapchat, and
Certainly
I'm not doing Instagram as much as I would like to be. So I can only, in my world, keep up with so much, and that's why I definitely keep it together. So nobody has something that's separate. You have something for family use and something for
Yeah.
professional. So it's all together.
I would say
Well,
I don't
I have two
accept
sons.
everyone. I don't accept everyone on Facebook. I used to, and I found that I had some people that were taking up a lot of my time that I didn't even know. And I said, why am I spending all this mental energy dealing with people I don't know? And then I thought, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I went through this giant purge, and I unfriended like 500 people. Not kidding. And a couple
one
of
of
them, no, we're still friends. But you made the cut. You made the cut. No,
That would've been
but there were a few people that friended me back, and a few of them I accepted their friend request back. The rest of them kind of went out into the ether and probably never even noticed.
Yeah.
And there were a few that requested me back, and I said,
No. I think that it's difficult to make that decision. For me, just with the magazines and the things that I'm talking about with the magazines, it's easier for me to accept everyone, and then if I have an issue with someone, or if someone is inappropriate or posting things that they shouldn't be, then I get rid of them. But ultimately, I just take everybody. I do find that dealing with family can always be a challenge when they like to post things on your page without your permission.
oh, settings
Yeah.
are your friend.
Yes, definitely.
Approve everything.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys so much. I think that it's important advice for people to get good advice and to keep things very professional. Thanks for joining us today. This has been another Capital View. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you're out and about, don't hesitate to pick up the next copy of Capital Area Women's Lifestyle Magazine. Have a great day.